But the cool thing for Russell Wilson is that he can take a league minimum contract for year one, since the Broncos are going to pay him $39 million, or it's going to be up to $39 million no matter what. Russell can just play for cheap and let his new team save a ton of cap money in year one. And in year one, they can go out and get every free agent they want. They can upgrade the offensive line. They can spend all of their money and picks on putting things around Russell and build a super team super quick. The Falcons and the Raiders, those both make a ton of sense to me. The Steelers, there's been reports that they're actually trying to make it work with Kenny Pickett, so it wouldn't surprise me if they go conservative and stick with the guy they got. But let me throw two more at you that I haven't been hearing so much about. What about the Buccaneers? Reportedly, the Buccaneers did offer Baker Mayfield a contract, but he hasn't signed it yet, which could mean that Baker's actually looking to test the market. Let's assume the Buccaneers offered Baker a contract worth an average of $33 million a year. But then he goes, yeah, that sounds good, but I want to test the market just in case I can get up to 40. Well, if you're Tampa, maybe you take offense to that and you go, you know what? Fine. We'll sign Russell Wilson to a 3-year deal. First year is $1 million. Second year is $35 million. Third year is $45 million. Now for Russell, that would average to right around $40 million a year. But for Tampa, that actually only costs them right around $27 million a year on average. So it's a win-win for both sides. And that should especially be concerning to Baker Mayfield, because once you start comparing Russell Wilson to Baker Mayfield from last year, and you really take a look at the stats, you have to factor in that Russell Wilson played 2 less games than Baker. And yeah, Baker had more passing yards. Baker had more passing touchdowns, but he only had 2 more passing touchdowns than Russell Wilson. And Wilson had a better completion percentage, had a better rating, and threw 2 less interceptions. And Russell Wilson beat Baker Mayfield in every single rushing stat. So I'd actually make the argument that Russell Wilson had a better season than Baker Mayfield, despite playing for a worse team. So the Buccaneers could get the guy coming off of a better season that's historically been a better player for an average of $6 million less per year. Now, what's the other team that I want to throw at you? Well, a team that's in a very similar situation, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings and Kirk Cousins don't have a deal yet, and Kirk Cousins is likely going to be the highest sought-after quarterback free agent, which means he's going to be pricey. For the same numbers I was throwing around for the Buccaneers, I'd say Minnesota could pay those numbers to Russ. And once again, you get a high-quality player who's not coming off of an Achilles injury for a lot less money. Like, imagine if the New England Patriots, who have the second most cap space in the league and have the 3rd overall draft pick, imagine if they sign Russell Wilson to a deal that includes maybe just $1 million on the first year. Maybe years 2 and 3 escalate, but let's say that the first year is just $1 million. That would mean they could spend all of their remaining cap money putting things around Russell for this season, and it would mean that they could use the number 3 overall pick to get Marvin Harrison Jr., a wide receiver that's going to be a threat for years to come. They can spend the rest of their picks the same way they're going to spend their cap space, putting weapons around Russ, maybe upgrading the defense a little bit, but it was already a pretty solid defense last year. The Patriots could quickly become a good team overnight in year 1 of the Gerard Mayo era.